As a measure of effectiveness of how we're doing in the air campaign, I just pull these two things out. I've laundered them so you can't really tell what I'm talking about because I don't want the Iraqis to know what I'm talking about. But trust me, trust me.
The most sensitive decisions of war and peace. The trusted inner circle of men. And for the first time ever, a black man among them.
I feel about Colin Powell much the same way I felt about Jackie Robinson. This man is a pioneer. There has never, in the history of America, been a more powerful black human being. Ever. No black human being in America has ever exercised as much power as Colin Powell has.
Our strategy to go after this army is very, very simple. First, we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to kill it.
Colin Powell poses a dilemma to other black leaders. He is a symbol of black pride, and he is also the most hawkish chairman of the Joint Chiefs since the days of Vietnam.
It's not just the established black leadership, but it's also the Democratic Party that would have problems conceptually with Colin Powell. You know, on the one hand, he's an African-American. On the other hand, he's a general. That makes him both a victim and an imperialist. It's, you know, cognitive dissonance. How can you be both?
Colin Powell has moved between two worlds, the White House of Reagan and Bush and the network of black organizations around the country. These two worlds have been at odds for much of the past 10 years. What does Colin Powell really stand for? And what will his rise to power mean for other black Americans? Colin Powell was born at the fringes of Harlem. Like many young men from working-class homes, he enlisted in the ROTC, drawn to the military in part for the fringe benefits it offered. That was more than 30 years ago. Now reporters comb through his past, looking for clues.
You know, in 1952, when Dwight Eisenhower accepted the Republican nomination, a close friend of his said, "Democrats were after you to accept it in 1948, and this year, why weren't you a Democrat?" And Eisenhower said, "Well, look, I grew up in Abilene, Kansas. I never knew Democrats. What are Democrats?" Colin Powell grew up in Washington Heights in New York. He went to City College in New York. He speaks a little Yiddish. I don't think he probably met very many Republicans. He may well be a Democrat.
The last time anyone could fix a political identity on Powell was in 1964, when his Volkswagen had a Johnson for President sticker on it. By then, he'd served a tour in Vietnam, while his family waited in Birmingham, Alabama. These were the days of Bull Connor and the famous police dogs.
It really got to him that his family, while he was fighting for his country, his wife and his small child and her parents had to live in such fear of the police in Birmingham. And I think that really left a mark on him.
Unlike many black leaders, Powell watched the civil rights movement from afar. After his second Vietnam tour, he caught the attention of Frank Carlucci and Caspar Weinberger, two powerful Republican appointees. Weinberger, as Secretary of Defense, presided over the great military buildup of the early 80s. Domestic programs were being cut. Civil rights leaders protested loudly. Powell remained loyal to Weinberger and Reagan. They, in turn, were loyal to him.
General Powell is a very smooth operator. He's got a lot of style, he's got a lot of tact, and he has moved easily in jobs which allow him to mix and mingle with the high and mighty. He is a very smooth customer.
Powell maintained close personal ties with black organizations and many black leaders, even as he climbed rapidly through the White House.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am most pleased to introduce the man that I have selected to be the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Colin L. Powell.
This man would go on to orchestrate in the Persian Gulf one of the most punishing bombing campaigns ever unleashed on this planet. Iraqi casualties are estimated at 100,000 or more. Yet few have chosen to criticize Powell for that. He emerged from Desert Storm with the nickname the Black Eisenhower, and Republicans and Democrats, liberals and conservatives, whites and blacks, all are rushing to claim him as their own.
Really proud of everything you're doing. Hey, get him on camera. You don't need me on camera. Take all of you. Have you ever seen anything like this before in your life? Come on, let's go here. Wham, get your finger over the lens, son. There you go.
Thank you.
America loves black heroes. We love black exceptionalism. America loves to have black heroes because it tells America that we're fair and that the doors are open. And for those people who want to believe that the doors are open and we have a level playing field, you can look at Colin Powell and Michael Jordan and as Exhibit A and say, well, you see those people in the ghettos, if they just pull up their socks and stop going to bed at the age of 15, they too would be fine.
He's not a Jesse Jackson. He's not someone who challenges whites and challenges the white power structure or their values. The truth is, Colin Powell validates the white power structure and their values because he is played by their rules and has succeeded and says others should play by the rules too.
I'm the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I represent every GI who wears our uniform. But I'm also black and African American. My path was different. My path was more difficult. Many interviewers, when they come to talk to me, think they're being progressive by not mentioning in their stories any longer that I'm black. And I tell them, don't stop now. I shot somebody, you'd have mentioned it. 53 years you've been saying it, don't stop now.
He can go into politics, he can go into corporate boardrooms. The truth of the matter is, I think Colin Powell can do whatever the hell he wants to. I think the world is his oyster. He can eat it, he can fry it, he can do anything he wants to.
If Powell ever enters the political world, if ever he declares a position on abortion or affirmative action, then this man who now seems to have no enemies except Saddam Hussein will find out that he has many. In the meantime, he remains a mystery. Not even his children, it is said, know his political views or party affiliation.
Reverend Jackson, what does General Colin Powell represent for Black America?
Well, at one level, to me, he represents a personal friend. On the other hand, he lives outside of the zone of certain criticism because he does not have to take positions where people do vote up or down. He is in the military arena. He administered the Panama War. He didn't make the decision. He administered the war in the Persian Gulf. Deciding to have the war was Mr. Bush's decision. He implements his job well.
You've seen a lot of press reports calling him an American hero and a lot of reporters and journalists suggesting that he should consider a political career. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that's a choice he has to make. But
why is it happening, though? I'm wondering why. Why are they saying Colin Powell might be a good vice president candidate? He might be a candidate for a governor?
Well, there's a sense now that somebody, no, it's not, it's just that too. But it's also that
this is the same George Washington.
It's time for somebody black to make that breakthrough. And many whites are trying to choose who that will be. You see, and that's the trueness of that. He's qualified to be it. Mm-hmm. He has great favor within his own ethnic community and around the country. So he has earned these accolades. But being a war hero coming out of a popular war, he is. I think Roger Wilkins' point was this: he is an exception, and there are those who would use his exceptional status as a fig leaf to cover millions of others who do not have those opportunities.
all those things being said, there are several other things that also have to be said. I mean, the fact of the matter is he is a genuine hero. A general becoming a presidential boom figure is as old as this republic. And it's a good thing, frankly, that it now is extended out to be new for the republic, that it would be a black man who would be. Second thing is, this is not just a chairman of Joint Chiefs taking somebody's orders. This is the most powerful Joint Chief in the history of this country under a military reorganization which makes him an eminently powerful person in his own right, a man who, when he argued inside that four-person council, was heard and not responsive only. This guy had real power. Pocket it, folks. Whether you like the war or not, the man was a power player who had positions which carried the day inside that debate within that circle of President, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense.
Sir, you have a comment? You set up?
Black leaders have been attacking Colin Powell.
In what way?
You said he just administered. First of all, the Bush administration is on the line, and the Republicans to deliver to these people when they come back. No doubt about it. You said he only administered the war. Bill Gray, and I have a lot of respect for him, but he denigrated his own position and the Black Caucus by saying Colin Powell was not a policy maker, he was just a policy executor. That's saying that Colin Powell is a house nigga. And if they say that blacks shouldn't have been in the war, shouldn't go to the Gulf, and Colin Powell sends them, that's the house niggas sending the field niggas to die. That's what they said, and that's the anger that I have.
Well, that is an unfair characterization of his role. That's not Congressman Gray's position, and certainly it is not my position. In the final analysis, the commander-in-chief determines war and determines ceasefire. Everyone beneath that is an implementer and an inputter in that process. That's no denigration of Colin Powell.
Well, it's not fair. You're telling me a black cop can't arrest a black drug dealer. We got black police.
We'll get you in just a minute. We'll get right back to you, sir. We'll get to you.
People said, excuse me, Reverend Shepherd, people said the same thing when blacks wanted to get into the police force. They said it was racist. Blacks became police officers, and then they accused them because they had to fight black street crime. A black policeman can't fight black street crime. A black general can't send black soldiers over the war. I mean, it's crazy. I don't understand what you're telling us. You got problems going into corporate America, problems going into education systems. We got problems everywhere, but we have made gains. Stop telling black people that they've done nothing, they've accomplished nothing. They have, and we need to move on from here. My point is...
Mr. Klein, is there a difference between Colin Powell and other black leaders?
I think that, I mean, other black leaders, you're generalizing. I think that
well,
as
let's take Reverend Jackson, for example. Let me be specific.
I've heard him mentioned for president.
I mean, here you are, you're a journalist. You've got two people. You've got Reverend Jackson, who's been in the political front for a long time. You've got Colin Powell, where the public and the press are saying this guy has great political potential. Mm-hmm. Are they different?
Are they different? Of course they're different.
All right.
I've seen Jesse Jackson in inner city high schools inspire kids the way I've never seen another American. But I haven't seen Jesse Jackson move 500,000 troops and a whole army over to the Middle East. So they have different skills. I mean, they're different human beings. What I was going to say before is this, that as blacks move more into the American mainstream, as they have and will continue to do, you're going to see a greater diversity of black leaders and differences among them. You're seeing Doug Wilder, you're seeing Mike Espy in Mississippi, you're seeing Gary Franks in Connecticut, you're seeing all kinds of different people.
Okay.
Point is, our differences as human beings are self-evident because we have different parents, and different orientations. And there is no conflict between our position. Jesse Jackson as president and Colin Powell as chair of Joint Chiefs allows both of us to function compatibly.
We're going to take a couple of questions from the audience. Sir, you want to stand up? I wanted your sense. There's been a lot of talk in the press and the public about Colin Powell and his potential for leadership in this country. What's your perspective as a young student who has to make these critical decisions?
He's, coming out of this war as the architect of this masterful military operation, probably one of the most successful in modern history. And I think that brings with it positive implications as a role model for other black Americans.
What about white Americans?
For white Americans?
Yes.
In what respect?
Is he also a role model for white Americans?
I think he is too. I'm not saying that he's just specifically a role model for black Americans, but I'm saying maybe a new type of role model for black Americans, one whom is self-reliant and who, although worked with a system that placed many obstacles for blacks in the United States, has risen to gain significant power.
Reverend Shepherd, let me come to you.
So what I would like to say is, I get a little weary of this conversation about progress that we have made. How have we made progress when black people are in worse condition today than they have ever been in probably in the history of this nation since slavery? Now, don't show me a Joe Louis or Colin Powell when mothers can't feed their children. I don't want to see no more Jackie Robinson and so about how we have achieved. We ain't achieved nothing until men and women, boys and girls have a rightful share for the blood that they've shed.
Mr. Carter? Wait. I'm coming to you. Mr. Carter?
Black America has not achieved yet, in large part because of white America, what black America should have as American citizens. That is a fact. But to say that no black Americans have achieved anything and that things are worse is simply wrong, and I cannot sit here and allow it. I'm sitting here, I'm sorry. It'd be very popular for me to go right like that to you, and it's dead wrong. Dead wrong.
You get a response, let me finish his point.
Dead wrong.
Talking about achievement.
I am sitting.
Role models of people who.
I'm sitting here next to two people who demonstrate to me by their presence that you're wrong. There is accomplishment for some. There is desperation for many. But pocket the accomplishment. Don't denigrate it, because it is on the back of accomplishment that you have a chance to deal with desperation.
Mr. Klein.
I was not denigrating. I was showing how it was used as a symbol. And every time things get worse and worse in our communities, somebody brings me a Joe Louis, a Colin Powell. I know what Colin Powell has had to go through. There's General Peterson. In the corporate area, there's not one CEO in the top 250 corporations who is black in this nation. Please, when we are on the verge of almost a total destruction of our community, to talk about progress is almost insulting of one or two individuals, or even 10 or 11.
Clearly, more has to be done. There's no question about that. But I have a real serious concern here with the sort of things that gentleman was just saying, and it is this. It is the exact opposite message that I've heard Jesse Jackson deliver in high schools across this country. The message you're sending to black children is that white racism is insuperable. You can't overcome it. You can't triumph. Things are worse than they ever were. That is inaccurate, and it sends a message, and it sends a message to children that it doesn't make a difference if you try, and that is the exact wrong message.
As I listen to him argue his case, and two journalists speak right past him, it says so much why there's so much hostility toward the press, because it is so white, and it is so male, and it's shooting past us, and not hearing really what we have to say.
Mr. Carter?
I got it.
Mr. Carter.
I'm telling you, I wasn't going past anybody. I'm speaking directly to the issue that's raised here, and I'm going to say it one more time, because it is important that it be engaged directly and not pretend like we're ships passing in the night. We're not. We're engaging on this one. We live in a real world of political engagement, which you engage in all the time. It is all very well to make the speeches to the converted, okay? It's great to say over and over again those things which are clearly wrong. But if you're not able to at the same time pocket that which has been done, which is right, done by you, then I'm going to tell you what happens. Step by step in a political society, you lose the political possibilities inherent in your own success by denigrating everything that you've already done.
All right, I want to take, sir, right here. Then we'll get these two brothers next, all right? Yeah.
With all due respect, I'd like to say to the two journalists that you're not really qualified to speak about the condition or mindset of the African American, because you don't live in our communities. You see, you don't know what we feel and the pain that we feel. There's no way that you can. There's nothing against you not to say that you honestly want to feel that way or want to do something good, but you can't understand, where we're coming from. In terms of General Powell, in terms of whether he's a leader or not, to African Americans or to all Americans. African Americans, we need to choose our own leaders, and that's something that we will decide as a people who will be our leaders, not who white America chooses or who the media chooses. That's something that we would do for ourselves.
When you talk about white nominated leadership, absolutely no white should name any leader for any black community, period. But if you think there's going to be a leadership of this nation without white votes, you're crazy. Right. It's got to be put together, and it's going to have to be with two.
Your comment?
I think we're a little confused here. I don't think any of the black community objects to any American citizens, black, white, or any other color, going into the military services. We've heard some objections. Well, but this is our country, and we applaud General Peterson, we applaud General Powell, but that should not be the only area where our young people can look to realize their potential.
Mr. Klein?
I'm not so worried about the troops when they come home. I think if there's any resume line that is going to get you a job over the next 30 years in this country, it's I participated in Operation Desert Storm.
This is going to be different from every other war.
Yeah, in this case it is, because it's a different army. It's a different structure.
As opposed to my distinguished colleague, I might say that I'm not optimistic that there will be openings. When you speak of jobs being available, those jobs were there before those kids went into service. What's changed? A war? No. The labor unions, the various companies, are they going to open their doors now that these kids have fought?
What's changed?
Why open the doors for a 5-day war when they weren't open for a 360-day war?
One final question here. And the question is, when the president spoke before a joint session of Congress, I didn't hear a concrete, well-defined, well-thought-out plan for this country. We had Desert Storm. The question is, what about Desert City Street? If we don't get the domestic agenda that you're talking about, what happens the next time we're called? Should we go? No. Should we pause?
I think as far as a military member, that is our obligation. If we have signed the dotted line, we are committed. We feel we are committed. We went because there was an obligation. We signed to say that if America goes to war, that is our responsibility to respond.
I heard a couple of no's in the audience. Where are those no's? Is this a no right here?
Also, and please listen, I have a Powell in my pocket, a Jesse Jackson in my pocket, but I say if the president says there's another war, hell no, we won't go. Because in my pockets, I am not feeding my children. I'm not housing my people. I have no education and no jobs. Until the war is fought here at home, until billions of dollars is pumped here at home, I say we will not go to war. We will stand up against it.
Now, in case the press wants to play her position in a funny way, in the war, everybody got something out the deal. The Egyptians got their debt forgiven. The Syrians got debt forgiveness and got spoken to. Israel got more security and more support. The Kuwaitis get their country back. So the idea of expecting to get something out of the war is not an unreasonable expectation. And so when the question becomes, we go to war and we come back, what we get must not be put down as a less than valid concern. Everybody in the alliance got something out the deal. So those who are on the front line must expect to get at least their civil rights out of the deal. That's fair.
Mr. Klein?
Thank you very much.